Chapter 12, Coercion and the Conscience, presented by Holly Metzger-Brown. They discuss about we go from one action to the next with little to no attention. You can kind of think when you go to work, you don't really need to think about going to work. You provide no attention. You just get there. And we go from one thing to the next. It talks about the inner force under the skin, in the mind, and we often feel this tug of war between right and wrong within us. Our conscience pulls us to do the right things, even when the contingencies pull us to do the opposite. They also talk about in the book is conscious is the verbal community's convenient name, referring to our attending to doing the right thing. They also talked about the transformation of babies. Babies go from being self-centered, they go from dependent, all of a sudden, to this law-abiding citizen following all the rules. And they feel threatened by whoever is teaching us through all their punishments that they receive, so they learn to follow the rules. And the foundation of conscience is coercion, control. And they talk about the rat pulling the lever, getting shot, pulling the lever, getting shot, is now taught the fear of pulling. Same thing as the relationship with a child knocking over a vase. No, don't do that. They are now law-abiding citizens as they grow up of being feared that they will get in trouble. So the baby and the rat have those correlations together because they gradually reduce the magnitude of their behavior through those warning signs until they were internalized, and then the conscious mind took over and composed of all of this behavior. So you have the conscious and the control. So the baby is now being taught, the rat is now being taught to be safe. I made the connection with teaching tennis lessons. Early learners, I just focus on their form. I don't even worry about if the ball is going in or not, because I don't want them to redesign their stroke technique in order to get the ball in play. I want them to focus on their form, and they focus on their form, then they'll get it in play, because I don't want to have them fear, oh, I'm going to hit it out, and then all of a sudden they call it playing it safe. And it's the motto, play to win, not to lose, and I kind of made that connection with coercion control. The meaning of bad, it has been taught through actual or threatening punishment. You hear it sometimes about, was I bad? Was I good? And it's something that's in the conscious mind, has been taught over and over again through these punishments. Our internal invention. And the internal invention, it goes with the conscious and the super ego to explain why we are, and they talk about these topics, antisocial, selfish, unethical, and immoral. We talked about it. No, don't touch. It's considered a warning sign that internalizes that and brings avoidance. The conscious and control. Actions that are not punished become safe, while the others go into the category as conscience. Very similar to what I was talking about with the rat and the baby. You start to develop a narrow pathway, very similar to that fixed mindset, growth mindset correlation is when you focus on, wow, I love that you learned. I love that you gave your best effort. Continue to do that. The child grows up with more of this growth mindset. When you have a fixed mindset, it's like worrying about the grades. And now all of a sudden, the student doesn't care about learning anymore. They care about what the grade is. And you're kind of making that child a narrow pathway. And people who have that strong conscience, like, oh, I don't want to get a bad grade, I'm going to play it safe, have a stronger conscience. Through punishment of the community brings conscience. So if you think of your workplace, like, oh, I don't know if we should do that because this might happen. Wow, rather than let's try it and see where we go. Breaking the law. People find ways to avoid punishment while achieving huge gains. So they talk about people that are mysterious. Criminals come in all different levels. And they talk about even people who are speeding, who are breaking the law. You'll avoid speeding when you see a police officer. You'll find yourself kind of coming up with creative ways. I think that's when it came out with that speed detector that you can notice, like it'll warn you that a cop is there. Now, if you use Waze as far as like a map, an electronic map, it'll say police officer a mile ahead. But you just then don't do it. And then it talks about the conscious mind has failed us. Effective teaching methods, using positive reinforcement and focusing on what people are doing right rather than focusing on what they're doing wrong. Earlier in my teaching career, I learned I can't remember who said it, it was an awesome thing, but you walk into the room already knowing and thinking, what are all my students doing right, rather than focusing, what are they doing wrong? And really get going on with that twist of you're looking for, I love that you're standing on a dot. I like that you bent your knees for that shot. I like that you picked up that sandbag, and you're just highlighting all the things and strengthening that behavior that you wish to have in your classes by using that positive reinforcement. So the question that I bring you today is, I've heard, and also I say the statement to my tennis team, a good leader is one on and off the court who demonstrate great sportsmanship even when no one is looking. And I use examples. Like you were to pick up maybe if you saw trash but no one else was looking around you, you would still then pick it up. If you noticed some student needed help, you would go help them even if no authority member was there. If a tennis player needed some extra help, extra attention, or just needed someone to talk to, would you do that even if the coaches weren't there? Always expressing that. But now, after kind of reading everything in this book, I'm kind of like, with the conscious mind, I'm now tasking myself with reflecting on this statement and the effectiveness or lack thereof. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts regarding this statement after learning about the conscious mind.